What's up guys, Sax here. Today, I'm back in Destiny Rising. I heard that they may have tweaked the Expanse, the two new stages. I've heard that they're a little more balanced out. And so I wanted to go in here, I want to kind of take a look and see kind of what their suggestions are, everything. So we have Electrify and Scorch, okay? So already I remember the last time we had Scorch with the rapid fire Shinkas. That was an incredible option there. Actually for Ning, impressively, like being able to have Ning Fei in there, could still break the solar shields and do that as well. However, I don't really have a great option built out for solar, so I might still just go in with Ning on the Scorch side. You guys liked my last video with Ning Fei running the solar expanse, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it again. So let's hop right in. Now, one thing that's gonna make this nice is it is rapid fire Shinkas. So it's solar, but we all know Ning doesn't care about the shield type. You can just shred that down, and also with the abilities damage with that. So we're gonna kind of slow roll it. We'll go through 11 to 20, and then we'll do the 20 to 30 as well. So I mean, look, that shield is just gone instantaneously, basically. Just shredded, brother. So we're just going to take everything Scorch. If you're trying to do this yourself, and let's say you only have Ning and maybe you're trying to figure out and see if you should do this yourself. Ning does not care about the solar shields at all. And also does not have, I mean, just really, you want to just lean into anything Scorch-wise you can. So get these signature abilities back as fast as possible. That's what I would suggest. So I'm going to take Nimble here and go through here, shred this down, this first ability. Then we're going to come in here and use this, shred this down. And again, if you're familiar, maybe you're not familiar with, you know, how jolting works in Destiny 2 or Destiny in general, you want to make sure that you tag whatever the largest enemy in the bunch is. If you do that, you are going to find great success with the chain lightning effect. And you may say that's something very, you know, very familiar. That's something that's obvious. I don't know. You'd be surprised. There's quite a few people who might struggle with that. So, remember, directly next to your reticle, you're going to see how many stacks of chain lightning you actually have. And you can see they deplete as I use Ning. So like as I use his abilities, you're going to gain a chunk of stacks, basically, of chain lightning stacks. So let's see here. I'm at 0. That gives you 6 per ability used. Okay, so I'm at 18. The top that you can hold is 24. And so when you go in here, you want to, especially if you're attacking a large boss, you want to try to get those stacks as high as you can. And then you will kind of have the ability to, you know, chain down not only that boss, you're chunking that boss down, but you're chunking everything in the vicinity of it as well. So I took Flame Nourishment there, reason being I want to be able to get my health back. I find that to be one of the more important things. I don't really struggle with damage with Ning. I think that's a pretty, you know, pretty normalized thing. You're going to be able to get the damage output that you're looking for. The main thing is just being able to make sure you heal. And I don't even feel like it's something where you're not necessarily like a bullet sponge, but one thing I find in Destiny Rising compared to like a Destiny 2 is I struggle at times to understand when I'm about to die. Like when I am in dire threat, it seems like oftentimes I kind of go from like 100 to 0 with my health. So guys, make sure you get in here. Even if you don't do the entire set of Expanse, make sure you get in here every rotation and get all of the materials and such out of it. Extract everything you can from it. One thing I don't like about using Ning on the solar side of thing is the fact that his super, honestly, Ning's super is the worst part about him. just using him as a character. But his super just really does not chunk shields that are not arc shields. It really doesn't even do that great against arc shields either, but the slam is what's craziest here. So make sure when you're using the Shinkas, you're taking down the rapid fire Shinkas here, you are utilizing Mahamayuri, rather, if I can get the name right, because the SMG is not as good. Also, make sure you're shooting for the white targets on the Shinka shield. It's something that took me a little while to figure out. Again, I'm kind of just going stream of consciousness here, just trying to help you guys out in any way I can. I love coming through here doing these expense runs because you get all the fruits, you get the dust, get the Lumia leaves, and then if you can get all the keys, that's where it's really at. Get some really, really good end game materials. And they've certainly tweaked this, you know, they've tweaked the leveling, the difficulty on this. It seems like they've tuned it down, however you want to say it, a little more appropriately. So you want to go as fast as possible through each of these stages. And then my suggestion with a lot of things that you have to do solo that's pushing into like an in-game territory is you really want to make sure that you know, even if you die, I would not suggest just giving up immediately. Because first off, you can get, you know, if you don't hit the perfect threshold, time threshold being for, you know, for doing it as fast as you need to gain all rewards, you're going to learn some valuable experience. You're going to figure out why you died, where you died. You're going to have to solve that, right? Like, it doesn't help you at all if you leave and go to orbit or whatever you want to call it immediately. So finish the run, get the run done. Once you're done with that, then you can kind of assess and be like, well, you know, why did that happen? How can I prevent it from happening the next time I go in there? For instance, last time on the solar run, we had the encounter where you got the big ogre at the end that is immune shielding 2 of the balls that you need to break off. And man, that thing would wreck me every single time. I never ended up getting the full subset of rewards, but I did end up clearing it, so I got a partial of the rewards. But that was heavily tuned. That was tuned a little too far for my liking. How about I do this while I'm waiting on some enemies to come in? Music's so dramatic. I love it. That's one thing we don't... man, it's been a long time since I did Dares of Eternity, but that's one thing I don't remember us getting from Dares of Eternity was the real drama towards the end of it. Remember, Shenka here, we're going to use Mahamayuri on it. Get these abilities. Even if you're not spamming these abilities on an enemy, using the abilities will give you the chain lightning. So like with an enemy that's floating out in the open like that, it's really key that you still use the ability. If you can prevent falling off the platform like I did, that's better. But so yeah, a little 5-minute run. I could have done that a little faster, but you don't have to. For the 11 through 20, you don't have to worry about it. Let's see here. Yeah, let's go. Again, we're just taking as many scorch stacks as we possibly can here. We want to scorch the boss with everything we have. Remember, you got turrets coming up, so lock in on them. If you can get some chain lightning here, some of these side ones are close enough where they can catch it. For this next room here, I like to push up. I like to come over kind of to the side here and then push up and just wait for this boss to be ready. Remember, these Cabal, if you shoot them on the back, that is considered a crit point. The backpack on it. So. And you really, really got to get the turrets down for that. So I like to focus on the turrets. Remember, can't take your heavy ammo to orbit. Use it. Use it or lose it, folks. There we go. So you could probably be even more efficient with that room right there. But I mean, a little 6-minute run through the stacks, get those rewards. It's not, you know, it's not the hardest thing in the world, but get through there. You know, I've not seen the arc side yet, but that was a fairly simple, straightforward. If you have built into Ning Fei, you're going to have the ability to go in there, get these rewards. You can see them on screen right now. You can see I got a couple mythic artifact choice engrams. I got a elemental artifact choice chest, so I can go in there, choose artifactual clusters, which you need to push your artifact further and further, and then just some other great things. So that is the 11 through 20 run. Now let's go ahead. We're going to push into the 21 to 30. Give it a shot here. Okay, Scorch again. Rapid fire still. And you can see the rewards preview. As you're going through, you can see you're getting a lot of Mobius clusters for the various stages here. So if I can cross 23, 26, 29, and 30, I'm going to get 8 Mobius clusters. I'm going to get 120. I'm sorry. I'm going to get 140 Illumia leaves. I'm going to get a couple of random exotic artifacts. And, you know, we even have some of the artifactual essence at stage 30. So these are without even clearing, you know, within a speed time limit. These are just things that you will get from clearing. And then when you go through and do the challenge rewards, you can see just for clearing, you're going to get 1 key. And then if you can do it in less than 7 minutes, both sides. So it looks like for both sides here, we have 11, 10, 9, and 7 are the levels here. So that's what we're looking for. Actually, let me make sure I'm correct on that. For the... Yes, I am. So 11, 10, 9, and 7 for both the arc and the solar side. So guys, let's hop right into the solar side with Ning Fei here. We're going to shred straight through all of the solar shields, and we're going to see how it goes. So remember, capping out at 65, 110. If you can hit 65, 110 with your character, you are ready to give this a shot. You can do the first round without it. What I just completed, you can do that well without hitting 65, 110. But if you're trying to push into here, I really don't want you to waste too much time working on it. These solar shields around the ogres are extremely tanky. So that's probably the only thing in that first room I would utilize your heavy on, and then get anything that's going to help you heal faster. The Mahamayuri shreds down, but you want to make sure that you're getting some healing here. Use this cover here. Use this cover to break line of sight with that ogre. That ogre is pretty nasty there. You got snipers as well. Make sure you get some chain lightning stacks here. Shred this down, then that ogre is going to go down super fast. Well, if I can finish out, there we go. There we go. So yeah, make sure you use the cover. Put your shoulders to the cover as you're moving through, and then you're going to have the ability to break line of sight with the larger things that are trying to beam you down. Okay, this one right here, you may have to be most efficient, you may have to leave the circle here to kind of inflict some chain lightning effects here, and then shred some of these enemies down. Okay, so shredding this down here. Okay, so now I want to get, when there's only smaller enemies out there, I want to get there. Want to make sure you reserve some of your heavy for later rounds. We know we're going to have Shinkas coming out. We're going to have some enemies coming from the left and the right. But again, we're standing in the circle anytime we can, just so we can progress the time as fast as possible. And then when we have the larger enemies, we want to be, you know, we get this thing where it's going to freeze us here. So we're going to take this here. Shred the Shinka down. Get these wizards down if we can. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to get back into thing here. We're going to cast abilities so we can get some chain lightning. That's going to affect shoot the heavy bricks from here. Stay in the circle every time you can, but when you see the big ones, you know, use what you need to. Use the big one as kind of like a Tesla coil to chain the damage to everything around you. Okay, I'm standing in here. I'm still capping. Still capping the zone. This is a capture the zone encounter. This is not necessarily a kill everything as fast as possible encounter. This is a capture it as fast as possible encounter. There we go. So that was, I mean, that was very efficient. Very efficient for that room. I remember running it a couple weeks ago, and I was certainly not as efficient with that. So this is lock the character. So if you break past that first, first few stages, it's gonna lock your character to that zone, right? Or the solar or the arc piece is what it's gonna do. All right, let's continue. Stage 24. So I'm taking flame nourishment here. So we're gonna inflict burning, and that's gonna help heal us. Again, I'm not concerned with my damage output. Now, I will take it if I can get it. I'm going to take anything to up my damage output. But I want to try to heal when I can as best as possible, especially in some of the later rounds. That's the main thing that's going to throw you, right? When you're just falling short of time, it's not necessarily that you couldn't figure out a way to get there fast enough, especially if you're using a character like Ning. It's more that you died and you lose a full 30 seconds as you are, you know, for a reset, and then you lose the time that you tried to spend during the encounter here. So, okay, we're gonna have a big ogre. I believe there's a big ogre that will pop up in this encounter. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Click the chain lightning here. Okay, it looks like I'm wrong about that, which is great. Okay. So again, some of these encounters when you're clearing enemies, be closer to the exit. I mean, it does pause the time, but I like to push towards the end and then kind of let the enemies kind of come to me. Okay, so the goal of this is I got to kill the elite combatants. Okay, so we are paying attention here. Chain lightning, gonna try to chain between the two of these. Remember, these hive, if they have their abilities, or I'm sorry, if they have their wall up, they're healing. Okay, so you really got to pay attention. Be close to the wall there, like I had just said for the round before. You want to be close to the round. You do not have to kill these snipers as you're going. You can push past them. Remember, all we have to do is kill the challenging combatants, the ones that have the diamonds over their head. So now, if something's killing you, obviously take care of it. But your goal is not to kill everything. Your goal is to kill those enemies there. Now, I'm going to hold on to my slam ability here so that I can tag this, kill that Shinka, and I got one more here. Let's see if we can take this out here as fast as possible. Okay, so yeah, there's even some efficiencies we can do there. If we could clear the enemies while that Hex Guard Knight is still close to the Ogre, if we can get up there, pop the Ogre shield down, use the Ogre as a bit of a Tesla coil, we would be able to chain the lightning to everything in the room a little more efficiently. So have a little under 3 minutes to clear. Stages 27, 28, 29, and 30 here. So we're going to do... All right, let's start leaning into some of the damage ones now that I have provided myself a way to heal a little greater. Okay, so this should be a short encounter here. Ah. Dude, that healing is so freaking strong, dude. What the heck? So that's what my main mistake and my main frustration with myself right there is he had a finisher. He had a finisher icon on his screen that I should have cast way earlier, and that would have provided that would have saved me a lot of time right there. Thankfully, that was a very efficient room right there. All right, we're going to get our signature abilities back faster here. Okay, so this one we're dropping down levels, okay? So you're looking for the enemies with the red diamonds over your head, and they're going to drop orbs here. You only need the amount of orbs that you need to open the door. So there were 2 enemies there that were casting that. We didn't need both of them. We only needed 1. This one will need 2. Okay, so I'm going to take this orb, throw that one. Okay, grab this orb. I'm going to take this one. Okay, I need 3 this time. This one's a little risky because there's going to be a Shinka here in the middle. I'm going to take that out. See if we can get rid of this real quick. Okay, you can hit a finisher on these enemies when they have their shield up, Shinkas. So as long as you have them close to that. So I was worried I was going to die for a second. Okay, okay. So a little less than a minute to try to kill this final boss. I'm not sure what the final boss is. I've not seen it. But we're going to do everything in our power. See if we can do this first try. Okay, let's take... See if we can deal a little more damage here. Okay, here we go. Just gonna try to do this, see if I can get my super back. So this is my problem I've run into in the past with this, is that oh no. Oh. I was 2 seconds away. Oh, I cannot believe that. All right, well, very doable. So that just goes to show you. So let's see what I get for the rewards for not being under. Okay, so I got 4 keys, 50 Lumia leaves, Nourishing Pact, Upright Tenacity, Artifactual Clusters, 3 of them, 2 Mythic Artifact Choices, 6 piles of Artifactual Dust, 20 Artifactual Essence, and 1 Season of Daybreak Engram. This goes to show you, okay, the compounding effect of what you're seeing as you're going through the Expanse. So you saw there were plenty of places where I worked on it, right? Like I worked through and I was really, dialed in on the capture, the capture play early on and some of the other encounters where I made up ground. But then I literally wasted probably 4 or 5 seconds on that one night that I did not finish. And if I would have finished it, I would have beat it. So guys, this is what I mean though, because if you don't do it in its entirety, you don't know how far you're off. If you get in here and you're like 2-3 minutes off, okay, well, we got some other things to work on. If you're this close, this is what's going to tell you, all right, it's time to turn around and do it again. So I don't have time to do it right now, but you can bet I'm going to go in here and do this again until before this reset. Make sure I get that last key so I can go spend them. So guys, I hope this was helpful for you. I really, really, really enjoy doing the Expanse. However, I will say, I would like to see NetEase incorporate some methods of doing the Expanse that have nothing to do with time, but maybe have more to do with defense, have to do with surviving, have to do with some other, various game mechanics. I think that the time thing is fine for some encounters, and it can still exist. But when we go here and we look at, what options you actually have for the Expanse, you go in here and you can toggle, right? We're toggling already between the arc and the solar. Just give us the ability to maybe toggle between You know, if we had a void one in here right now, that could be something that like a Yolder would be really, really strong at, or a Tan even, right? Because you can cross, you know, if you can find characters, Tan with Borealis could break void shields, but being able to do that, but then have Yolder that's a character that could hunker down and be able to survive in certain environments. So guys, I hope this was helpful. Like I said, I'm gonna be playing more, trying out. I want to try to get my characters up so I can actually do the pure arc side. I would love to. I'm setting a challenge for myself. I got 12 days, 17 hours. You can see on screen. I would like to hit and knock out under 7 minutes for both sides of the expanse. That's what I'm challenging myself this week. So let me know in the comment section, what are you challenging yourself to do in Destiny Rising this week? And until next time, be blessed, y'all.